Okay, moving on. When it comes to the paper model, I'm very thankful that I was able to find it and get the scale. But going through the model itself, it's in 1/400 scale. But the thing is, there are a few things in this that aren't very accurate. I'm going to put this over here for a minute. And when it comes to the ship, it's cool that there's a representation of the Fitzgerald. But what I decided to do, I'm going to use this as a pattern. I'm not so much going to use it for the detail or for the coloring. And when it comes to the coloring, you can see that they've got it yellow. The Fitzgerald wasn't yellow and brown. I want to do it the way she was before she sank, and she was white and red. And I get it, when she was launched, she was black. But I want to do it just before she went missing. And she was white and red. The top part was white, and the hull was red. And that's what we're going to do. And when it comes to this material, I was thinking of different things that I could do to actually superimpose the paper onto like a solid background. I thought of using resin sheets, but what I decided to do, let me show you guys. I ended up instead, I got the wood, and this is the 12 by 12 sheets, and this is about maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. And what I want to do is I want to use the pattern. This has the stern right off the bat. I want to use the pattern that's going to be in 1/400 scale, and we'll cut out the pattern and then we'll trace it onto the wood. And with the wood, I'll use the scroll saw and we'll cut out the pieces. So basically, I want to use the model for the sizing, for a size reference. But when it comes to doing the detail and the coloring, I think I'm going to do that scratch build from this. So basically, guys, we're going to turn this into the iron ore freighter, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald. And I hope I do her justice. So I think the first thing we need to do is, when it comes to the instructions, let's see, I just had that, here they are. The first thing to do would be the hull. And that seems like the place to start. Now the paper model doesn't have a bottom of the ship, a bottom of the hull. We're going to do the bottom. We're going to do it out of wood. And what I'm going to do is we're going to cut out pieces for the hull, but instead of using the bulkheads that they have that'll be made of paper, I'm going to make the bulkheads out of wood, and we'll reinforce it that way. So what I want to do is I want to get the basic outline of the ship. So we have this at the stern, we have midship, and lastly we have the bow, midship, and we have the stern. And you know these are the bottom parts because they have the little tabs where we fold so we can glue it onto the sides, or glue the sides of the ship on. So I think we're going to start by doing the bow. So we're going to do the deck, the top part, the deck part of the ship. This seems like a good place to start, so we're going to cut and again, we're going to use this as a reference. Once we get all the pieces in wood where we have the design, then we can start to sand it, we'll shape it, and what we'll do is we'll put more of the detail on, the way she looked more like she did just before she sank. And for the ends, let's see, we use the scissors. Okay, we got the midship, and when it comes to the bow, again, I'm not going to use the tabs because we don't need that. We won't be using that. So I'm going to use the scissors on this part. And again, what this is going to do is this is going to put it into the approximate size of the 400 scale. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to take these pieces, we're going to use them as a pattern, and we're going to transfer it on to the wood. And then we're going to use the scroll saw, and we're going to cut the pieces out. I thought about going larger. This is going to be in 1/400 scale, so this is how so far it's going to look. And we'll do the stern. This will be a little more manageable because I thought, like I said, I thought about going larger. There. Okay, so this is going to attach to the back, and we have the bow. So you figure 1/400 scale will be a kind of respectable. It'll still be small, but it'll be a respectable size of the ship. And we've got the bow. So basically that's going to be the outline. And this, let me show you guys how. This is going to be approximately 21 inches in length. All right, so we have the outline of the deck. This is going to be the top of the ship, what we're going to use to base the hull. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a sheet of the wood, you see how it's kind of flexible? We got to keep that in mind because when we do the curvature of the bow, there's a couple of ways that I was thinking of doing this. So let me show you guys my idea. We can do this a couple of ways. Like when it comes to the stern, I was thinking, because this is 1/8 of an inch thick, if we take several pieces of the wood and we stack them up on top of each other, what it'll do is it'll make a solid stern. What we can then do is I can file down to make the curvature of the back of the ship, because there are actually anchors in the back that go along the bottom. Or there's one anchor that goes at the bottom of the stern, or right in the middle. We can do the same thing. We'll do the midship. But the midship, we can put bulkheads in, and we can attach the sides to it that way. The stern, the bow, we could do the same thing. One of two things. We can either we can stack these up, or we can wet the wood and we can iron it, and we can actually bend it to the side of the bow. Okay, so what we did, in pencil, we got the outline of the midship. And what we did was we used the square to make sure everything was nice and straight, and we made our marks in pencil. We did the same thing with the length, and hopefully you guys can pick up. So this part is going to be the midship. Excuse my writing. So we got midship. It's going to be this section right here. And we're going to use the scroll saw, and we're going to cut this out. So when it comes to the bow and the stern, we're going to cut here. So this will leave the rest of this sheet. What I want to do is we can put it like one, we'll put it right here. And again, we're going to use the square just to make sure that the line is straight. And this is where the bow, the tip of the bow is going to be. So let's use the square. And we'll go right about there. In that little area where I tipped off the little point for the tip of the bow, we'll put the square and we're going to put it right here. Alright. So this area, we're going to mark the bow. So what I want to do is we're going to trace the outline. Just like that. Okay, so we got the bow. So this is ready to be cut on the scroll saw. But what I'm thinking of doing with the bow section is we're going to actually take a little stack of pieces of wood and we're going to glue them, we're going to clamp them. That way there we can make the bow a little more solid. And we won't have to worry about curving the wood. Now we could wet it down, we could soak it, and then we could use the iron to wrap it around. But I'm still new to shipbuilding with wood, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to stack them up, we're going to cut it, and then I'm going to file down to get the shape that I want. So this is the bow. So let's do the stern. So if we put the stern right up against, just like that, and the bow and the stern are the same sizes, and then we'll just see, we're going to stack these up to make it easier to cut and shape. When it comes to the midsection, we can use the bulkheads to put down and anchor the sides of the bow to the bulkheads. So when it comes to the stern section, we'll go ahead, we'll use the square right about there. And let's see, they're just about the same. We'll put the square across the top. Yeah, they're just about the same. So we're going to bring it across right about there. Now what I want to do is I want to trace out the shape of the stern. That looks right about good. And again, this is approximate because what we're going to do is we're going to shape it we're going to file it into the shape that we need her to be. So she's going to take form. It's not easy to just going to make sure that we're going to follow the correct. So here we got the stern and we got the bow. So what I want to do is we're going to cut this section, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to glue these patterns onto different sections so we can get, let's see, so this is approximately 4 3/8 inches. And it's not so much as important to get the different parts that are going to go on, because we're going to cut it regardless. But we do want to make sure that it's close to the same size. So we'll go all the way across. And again, this will be approximate. This is just to get the rough sizing down. Okay, so that's 1, 2. We'll bring it across. And this is, let's see, how long? We got 5 1/2 inches in length. So we got 5 1/2 inches. Let's bring this out to 5 1/2 inches. We'll mark it right there. So you guys hopefully can see the pattern that's emerging. So for the bow and the stern, we're going to have 1, 2, we're going to have 4 layers. Now, that might not be enough. Let me show you guys what I need. Let's take some of the wood, the sheets. 1, 2, let's take 3 of them. So if we just keep the template with 4, you can see how thick it'll be. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue it and we're going to clamp it. So if we double it, again, I want to do below the waterline. I want to do the entire hull. I don't want to bring it to the waterline. So if we double it to 8 sheets, that looks a little more, that looks better. So what we're going to have to do is, in addition to this one, we'll measure out another sheet. So when we cut, we'll actually have 8 deep. And let's see, at 8 deep, that would put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would put it at 1 1/4 inches. So when it comes to the ship itself, the model, the representation of the paper model, it's at the waterline. What this will do is this will bring it out Okay, so we got 4 sections, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's make sure we don't cut into the wrong thing. So this is going to be 8 sections for the bow, 8 sections for the stern. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the scroll saw and we're going to cut these sections out, and then we need to glue them and clamp them. And then we're going to cut out the midship, the piece for the midship, and I'm going to plan out how to do the bulkheads. So let's go down to the scroll saw. And we're going to use the pieces for other parts of the ship. Okay, let's start the other end. And I'm going to go just on the outside of the line. Now you guys can see we've actually got the outline, so now I'm going to cut out the sections. And here we got the blanks, and this is what we're going to stack up. So let's get the other 2 ready. So we got the first 4. Put this over here. And I think what I'm going to do now is we're going to work on the midship. So let's cut the end piece very carefully. We can use for the little parts. Okay, now we're going to follow it down and we're going to cut the midship section out. And again, we'll smooth it out, we'll sand it down and file it out, but this is the midship now. Midship section. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to run down and we're going to cut out the parts that we're going to stack up for the bow and the stern. Now we'll cut out the other 4 pieces. Here we are. So we've got these 4. We've got the bow and the stern, and we have the other 4 pieces. And you can see the thickness that we're going to have now. And we're going to be able to actually shape the stern and the bow. So let's go ahead and we got to glue these together. We got the midship. That's going to be this section. Let's see how close we were. You guys can see that looks pretty close. And again, when it's all together, we're going to putty it, we're going to sand it down, and we're going to give her shape. So this is the midship. We got the stern, and we got the bow. We got it 8 thick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to glue it, and we're going to clamp it. So we'll start with the bottom one. I like to use the Elmer's glue. What I want to do is I want to get enough glue to cover the whole surface area. I don't want to take any chances. All right, so let's smooth this out. Right up to the edges. Like that. And what we're going to start to do is we're going to sandwich the pieces on. Make sure that the curvature is going the right way. So we're going to put this on top, and we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be kind of like we're making a cake. And we're going to take another layer. Put that on top. And that's why we didn't have to make, I mean, we want it to be the same size, but you don't have to be microscopic about it because we're going to cut the shapes out. So we'll do the same thing. You know, we might even do this for the midship, but we'll see how it goes. Instead of doing the bulkheads, if we do it solid, it might be better, but I'm going to plan that out as we go along. And lastly, we're going to put on the top layer. And there's going to be some squishing out of the glue. So let's put this to the side. You can see how the glue is starting to squirt out already. It's better to put too much than not enough. So let's just make sure that this is there we are. I wish I had another clamp. I would put it on the corner over there. But again, I want to make sure everything is square, because once the glue dries, it's going to be pretty tough to get apart again. Well, that's the whole point. We want to make it as permanent as possible. So it's going to take a while for this to dry, but with this video, I wanted to show you guys is we actually get the outline now. We have the outline of the ship. We've got the bow, the stern, we've got the midship. Let's put that back. So just like that. It's going to be a respectable size model. Keep in mind, guys, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm new to shipbuilding, so I'm just doing this the way that I think it should be done. But we have the outline of the ship, and that's where we're going to start. In the next video, we're going to go back to the scroll saw. Once this is dry, we're going to cut out the bow, we're going to cut out the stern, and then I'm going to decide if we're going to do the same method for the midship or if we're going to do the bulkheads. So my friends, until my next video, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.